Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The sensitive stage coming to you live once again from our little emerald cave. What an interesting day it is today. I hope everyone is doing awesome. Now, I've come here to talk about patterns, and there's so many different ways. I'm probably going to do a few videos, I think, in a row, just about patterns and how it's almost everything is patterns right now. Patterns with ascension, patterns with politics, patterns with health and diet, patterns. Every day, every aspect, every asset of life. What are the patterns telling you? What are the numbers telling you? What are the numbers, synchronicities you're seeing? What are the patterns of the economic situation? Why do certain people, places, and government always use the same kind of tactics? What are the patterns of your own diet, your own health, and your own intuition, your own patterns? Could probably almost do a week worth of videos on this one, but we'll start with, well, I guess the most relevant patterns of today. The whole panic that we're seeing. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, do not be so panicky, for it is not something worth freaking out about, okay? Definitely, my advice is to stock up on some food and water for about a few weeks, because so much is going down. So much is happening on the big scale of things right now. It's very exciting. It's very kind of high energy, high, but for those of us who've been awake and aware, it's like vindication time times 2.0. Oh, so what patterns should we start with, eh? What patterns should we start with? Well, number one, I guess we'll do synchronicities and number patterns, and how this pertains to you in not only in your own life mission, but like once you notice certain numerical patterns and you understand the values, it's almost like the digits and the numbers are speaking to you. And they speak to you relentlessly almost every time you glance. It's something different for some other phase. Now, certain numbers, like the repeating 3 digits, those are more geared to activating your own personal activating numbers. But you can see like a 7-digit number and it has like 4621 whatever. That's actually speaking to you, literally nonstop, as we're kind of relentlessly going up and down. So pay attention to the numbers you see, how they make you feel, what they make you feel, what's going on, and pay attention to other people's and numbers as well. That's just something you're going to notice. Like, people always do things at around certain times for specific reasons, and people with certain motives or other, there's always specific dates. There's always specific times, right? These numbers can give you a clue. I mean, aside from the obvious, into other people's motives, other people's stuff. It's very much observe. I mean, not only observe, focus on what you love, but we're in a time of ascension. It's an ascension process. It's an awakening process. For those of us who've already been awake, I mean, we kind of know more or less, right? But for those who are waking up, like literally every bit counts. Staying out of your head, let the heart be the divining rod. That's why I say feel into what the numbers tell you, because the numbers, they speak. And you'll notice too, like you're going about your day, doing certain experiences, and certain things just seem to happen at certain times. And like you hear a phrase at a certain time, and you look, and it may not be the same person, but it's always the same phrase. or they say in passing, oh, almost like sometimes there's not even anyone there, but you hear is imprint. All relative, all relevant. As much as can handle at the same time. On the other side of that, as much as you can handle. Because we're going. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so interested now. This whole corona quarantine thing. What do the patterns tell you? Is a cold virus really, that has a 2 or 5%? Is that really what this hubbub is all about? Or is there something a lot bigger? Is there something a lot more going on, right? Just about no one remembers the 879 virus that happened 2 years ago and exponentially higher death percentage, everything, but it got contained in China and killed, right? So why is this one such a big expose? And why? What are the patterns? Why did the CEO of Disney drop out? Why did Bill Gates resign from Microsoft, right? What are the patterns? What's going on? Huge events are happening right now, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Huge events. I can't even explain this. Patterns are everything at a certain level. Whether we're going from synchronicity numbers to like behavioral to like your own genome, your own DNA. Like, we'll use X and Y chromosomes. How the X is still in perfect health, but the Y chromosomes, like systematically over hundreds of thousands of years, have been shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. What is the pattern there? What is going on? Why are these things happening? Right? We need to ask ourselves these questions as they come up and really give it some serious thought. Not from here. Yeah, you got to involve logic and reason. What is your heart? What is your heart telling you? What does your heart say? What is your inner guidance? What is your inner knowing? What are you? What is the you that you, not your ego, the you that you really pick up, the you that you really feel? Okay, what is really real? And what is a little horseshit? Patterns. Oh. You see, we are in a artificial reality, a very much computer-generated matrix reality inside this. Computer-generated reality, there's simply numerical sequences. There's simply always rhythms, things, patterns. I'm going to say patterns probably 100 times in this video. What are your patterns? What happens when you eat food? What happens when you sleep? What time are you waking up at? What time? What's going through your brain at certain times? What are you thinking? Is it actually you, or is it some external gravity or something else? What is it? What are the patterns? What is the gravity? What is the past patterns of gravity created? And what are the thought patterns you're thinking now? And in the beginning of a new era, a new chapter in the life, what do we have to do to change the patterns that have to be changed? Comprende. I hope everyone's keeping up with me. Bottle up, get lots of water, stock up for the next little bit. I'm not trying to freak anybody out. This is like, it's coming through. So much is seriously about to happen right now, and then the system is going to hit a bit of a lull. And there's going to be a week in there as all this happens where people are going to get a bit crazy as supply lines get low, and then like other people are getting arrested, and there is a real bug out there. But where your focus goes, the gravity and matter energy patterns flow. So with that pattern in mind, focus on the solutions to the old patterns, the solutions to the new patterns, to bringing in what you want to bring in, being what you want to be, doing what you want to do. Also, and this can be a different one because we talk a lot about, and you hear so much in this ascension time, doing what you love, being from the heart. Noticing the patterns of abundance that are open to you and are not open to you. Noticing the people in the crowd you kind of pull in and those patterns. Sometimes you have to go with the flow because that flow is trying to get you somewhere. And be like water, flow around the rocks. Don't get stuck on a point and be like, no, I want to go hard 100 degrees. I'm sorry, the river's not going to let you do that. You have to flow like water, and then maybe that takes you in the direction you want to go. Maybe it doesn't. Most likely, if you're really following your heart, it's going to take you where you're meant to be, where your soul is meant to be. Into building a new world. So, what is it? What are your patterns? What is it you want? What is it you want? Really? I mean, think about that. Think about your patterns. What are your thoughts? What are actually your patterns? This gets deep, right? We're in a time where it's only going to get the peripheral, like our view is just getting bigger and deeper and wider as we go, as we go, as we go, as we go. So, what are we at here? 11:30. Yeah. Patterns. This is the pattern part of the show where I pull out a crystal and start talking about it. I've asked a few questions, and people are like, oh, do an episode on this, do an episode on that. So, I'm looking. I'm hearing manifesting. So, here's what we're going to do. That I know of, I don't have Apache Gold anymore because there was a pattern there for a while where I had a whole bunch of crystals just breaking on me, and that was just the way it went. They deemed it was time, and it was a pattern. That was like, Azazelite, Pirate Gold, Apache Gold, this one, oh no, Amethyst 7, Earlite, oh no. It was time for some new toys. So, manifester number 1, Garnerite. I've talked a little bit about this. It's green, but don't let that make you think it's a heart-based. It's manifester, yes, but it's a draw. It's a draw. I guess where it gets green is it responds best to your inner guidance, your heart's desires. But aside from manifesting things, it doesn't actually help you. It doesn't give you any energy. It takes it. So this is a peach moonstone, a rose peach moonstone. It actually shimmers. There's some sparkly in there. Now this one is about calming anxiety and fears, but also helping manifest the solution to whatever the anxieties and fears are that you are feeling. So it's a bit specific in that it is quite root, like, you know, I see it as solar plex, sacral root. There's definite creative aspects to this, but also manifesting. Once upon a time, I had the most awesome piece of Apache Gold, which is basically pyrite and then obsidian as the ultimate grounding transmuter. Now this one is, it's a grounder, doesn't transmute as much, definitely manifests quite a pinch. Solar plexus, high energy. You get energy from this one. This one you kind of sort of do. It has calming effects and it helps you manifest, but this one really is both grounding and higher energy stone or crystal, metallic crystal we'll call. And what can I say about this otherwise? Kind of heavy. It likes to fragment a little bit. But money draws. Where these two It can be money draws. This one has a definite focus on manifesting more abundant material wealth statusy stuff. And seeing as how we're not doing Apache Gold, I'll just show you manifestor number 5 and 6. Now, lodestone, being magnetic, pulling things to you. Interesting little discovery I made recently. The hack is you get a little bit of magnetic powder, right? Because it's magnetic, it's a lodestone, it's wealth, abundance, that kind of side of the magnetics. And every time you win some money with it, pour a little bit of magnet powder on it, it likes to be fed. And then the hack is you keep going on it. Now I've kind of been leaving this on the stibnite, which I'll lift up here. I've been leaving it on this piece. Stibnite is number 7 for manifesting on top of so much more. But we're on lodestone right now. So the hack is you pour the magnet powder on it once it's got you some money. And then the more money it gets you, the more money. And like it just keeps building and building off that, right? If you're carrying it around with you, definitely carry it on a bag. You don't want iron powder places and things that's sharp. But it works. It works in my experience. I put the stone on a ticket, got a free ticket and $5 back with that, which doesn't often happen. Could be a byproduct of this thing too, because they work together. This one can win lottery tickets on a dime. Doesn't always win the prize you want, but it wins almost every single time. But that is lodestone. Now, I had another one in here, but we'll talk about the magnets some other time. Pulling, like there's different kinds of manifesting, right? This is energy materialization. This is synchronization. This is more pulling things to you. There are different kinds of manifestors, right? So just to be totally clear. Now this is stibnite. It is an astral projector. It is so many things. It is an aligner. Okay, so it actually absolutely helps with wealth and abundance, but not the way you expecting. It is a super personal development tool that, if used properly, can yield pretty good results. So with the nature of what this one is, Capricorn, Scorpio, Pluto, lots of it in your chart, or there's not too much point, because it's a little calcite. Don't want to touch it, right? Doesn't like to be touched. But it's nutty. It aligns every single chakra, all the way up for abundance. But it won't do that unless you're doing your spiritual work, right? So you got to do your work, whatever it is you do, however big or small. You can't get abundant without doing the work. You can't manifest the win or whatever it is without clearing out your closet. And it will help you clear out your closet. Absolutely. It's one hell of an astral field projector. Holy crow. Works very well with moldavite, actually. The two work quite well. Anything spiritual growth, personal development with that one is huge. We're talking about manifestors. I'm going to see if I can find it, because we may as well do that. Going through all this effort. Do I have one in my pocket? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. They're little buggers, the one I've got. Magnetite. Well, I'm not. So magnetite operates on the same principles of lodestone, but it acts like a garnet, except magnetic. loyal companionships, relationships, friendships, that kind of thing. There we go. There's a piece of magnetite for you. It's small, shiny, magnetic. Very, very, very magnetic. More magnetic than the lodestone. I'm finding you have one or two little pieces like I just showed you, and it changes the chemistry of your entire field. Nutty little things. Quite inexpensive too in comparison to like a lodestone or whatever. $1.50 for a little point like that. Okay. Well, we've talked about several stones here in the Sensitive Sage channel. So, what are your patterns? What are your patterns? This is all about being very aware of that at this point in time. I know one of my patterns is I gotta declutter the crap out of my space. I'm getting ready. I've been hearing like, yeah, new campaign, new campaign, new campaign, new campaign, new campaign. I'm so stoked to Soul Mission Highest Divine Timeline. I'm so stoked. I hope you all are too. Because it's go time. You know you got this. Take it easy.